Show me.
I'm the martial arts film freak, and I watched Expend4bles.
Take cover!
To choose this life over friends, over family.
It's time to get loud.
Let's fly, baby!
Expend4bles is a 2023 film directed by Scott Waugh, or Woff, or Wach, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Of course, starring Jason Statham, Sylvester Stallone, 50 Cent, Megan Fox, Dolph Lundgren, Tony Jaa, Ike Uwais, and a handful of other people. Jacob Scipio, he was fun, and Randy Couture. And, I mean, I guess I should say Levy Trent, because I bet she played. There's a lot of people in this that... Maybe this movie that people didn't need to be there. Expend4bles, and yes, I will keep calling it that because even if you look at this movie if you look this movie up on IMDb, even the title on IMDb says Expend4bles, not Expendables 4. And I know that, like, I don't know, 7 did the same thing, but at least that's a good movie. So Expend4bles is about the team going on this mission in which one of the team members dies, and then they must recoup and go for revenge to get the villain who just killed their team member. So the exact same plot as Expendables 2.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
There is more to it, trying to uncover the identity of this secret bad guy and the history, the past of Sylvester Stallone. I had no desire to see this movie on initial learning that they were making another Expendables, until they had said that they cast Tony Jaa, in which I thought, you bastards, fine, you've convinced me to think about it. And then they said they've cast Ike Uwais, and I thought, you bastards, you've fully convinced me, I'm in. But of course, as it goes for pretty much any of Ike Uwais' ventures into Hollywood, Snake Eyes, Mile 22, why would I get my hopes up? As if any director actually knows how to use him. Before we get into the action, let's break down some of the more technical bits of this movie. The writing, the story, the CG. The CGI was awful. The CGI was bad. It had some okay looking parts, but like, you know, just like a helicopter landing, it looked like a PS3 game. At one point, there's some green screen that just did not look good in the daylight. In the nighttime, it looked fine because it was the nighttime, but daylight green screen was just atrocious. The movie makes a big deal on Megan Fox's character, making her just, like, I guess that she's supposed to be the absolute badass, the new badass of this world among these characters, and her relationship with Jason Statham, which is really the driving force of a handful of this movie, and that's probably the only thing that maybe kind of works. Other than that, she's really just there to be Megan Fox. The rest of the plot here, I mean, I don't know how to talk about this without just going full spoilers. So look, it's Expendables 4. Is anyone really that excited to go watch Expendables 4? So I apologize to the people that don't want spoilers, but I think I'm just going to go full spoilers into this. This movie makes choices, and then towards the end of the movie just completely negates any of those choices, even if they may have been interesting. Initially, the person who dies on the first mission, just like Liam Hemsworth did in the second movie, the person who dies and they must get revenge for is Stallone. It's Sly. And I thought, what a bold move. What a brave choice. And in the end, it was wasted. He survived. He faked his death. So the whole driving force of a lot of our characters here, it was pointless. It pretty much was pointless. And it's like, that's a brave choice for your movie to make. That's like, that dude is the face of this franchise next to Jason Statham, and you just killed him off. You burned him to a crisp. Good job. Good for you. Capitalize on that. Take that momentum and run. And they did until the end, where they just took all that momentum and just flush it down a drain. My other gripe, my other problem of setting something up and then just completely tossing it in the toilet, the idea of we must uncover the true identity of this person from Stallone's past, this person who has remained a secret, kept his identity secret for all these years, who we just now learned about. Cool idea, fine idea, fun idea, but anybody who's ever seen a movie is pretty much going to figure that out within about 5 minutes. You know, as soon as you know who characters are what and what characters playing what role, you're like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah, it's that guy. And it was confusing because at one point Ike Uwais is holding this one character prisoner, and they tell the U.S. government, hey, we'll exchange this guy for this prisoner. We want this prisoner. And they make a big deal for a good few minutes on who this prisoner is. They've got a sack over his head. You're like, who's this prisoner? And then the moment you figure it out, they just shoot him. And you're like, but what? I'm confused as to why that detail was necessary. Did you just need to pad this movie for time? Why? 50 Cent joins the cast as a new character. He really brought nothing to it. He made no addition to this. They could have brought back Terry Crews. That would have been beyond acceptable. They could have, I don't know, brought in just anybody else and gave them an interesting character. I think the only reason they brought in 50 Cent, who, look, 50 Cent was fine. His character just offered nothing to the story. I think the only reason they brought in 50 Cent was because at one point a 50 Cent song played, and that's the joke. I think 50 Cent was just brought in to be the setup to a punchline. But let's skip over all that now, and let's get to this action here. Let's get to the purpose, the reason I'm here, because at the end of the day, I'm the martial arts film freak, and I'm here for the martial arts. I'm here for the good, I'm here for the fights. I don't really care much for the shoots. I'm here for the fighty fights, kicks, the punches, and the grabs, the grips. So it was not terrible. It wasn't bad. It could have been much better, but I wasn't completely angry. I'm, of course, a Jason Statham fan. I think a lot of what he does is quite good. I really like Homefront. Homefront is very good. Safe, also very, very good. I'm a big fan of Safe. So when Jason Statham, of course, as I said, the Stallone character is presumed dead, killed, gone. So Statham takes like the lead of this movie, and he gets a good solid like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes in that final sequence of some pretty decent, solid stuff. Nothing that I would honestly even go crazy for, but I was entertained for the most part. There are some fun stunts, some good ideas. It's a lot of pretty decent ideas and okay fights in an altogether not very good movie. We, of course, have Tony Jaa in this film. I was not disappointed. Well, no, I was not. I was not disappointed with Tony Jaa in this film. Only because, at this point, my expectations are so incredibly low for Tony Jaa in a Western film. From Furious 7 to frickin' XXX and Monster Hunter, I don't have high expectations for Tony Jaa in an American film. So what they did with Tony Jaa, in the light of the back-to-back stuff he got to do with Jason Statham, I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool. If only the camera could just calm the fuck down. That's really the whole issue with any of the action in this movie, and I mean all of it, is just the editing, and it's all close-ups. And I know it's the same stuff I complain about every single time. I just don't understand why whenever a character is throwing a kick, you want to do a zoom in on their torso, as if I don't want to see the leg coming around so I can have some context for what's going to happen in the next shot, where I can see a reaction shot of somebody taking the kick. It's just bad filmmaking. But Tony Jaa did not entirely disappoint. However, I was very disappointed with the finale fight between Ike Uwais and Jason Statham. And I guess it was just to show that at the end of the day, Ike Uwais was not the main villain of the story, which really just undercuts everything he's done so far and how threatening he's been, how many people he's killed, that he's just kind of a bitch. Ike in this movie, in terms of an actual fight scene, it's really just him and Jason Statham. They get maybe 2 minutes of Jason Statham mostly just winning, and then Ike dies, and that's it. Honestly, you don't even actually see him die. He gets like a good fatal wound, and then he gets interrogated, and then he just dies off screen somewhere. So that's just a waste of one of the brightest action stars of the 2010s. I need so badly for Ike Uwais to pull a Bruce Lee, to pull a Clint Eastwood, to pull a Jackie Chan. Go back to Indonesia. Go back to the roots. Go back to what made him the superstar and make something that's so absolutely glorious that Hollywood can't help but say, hey, if you just want to come over here and make one of those, we'll give you full reign to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Because right now, this is not it. He got his ass whooped. And the last major crime, and this is actually something that happened earlier in the movie and at the end of the movie. Earlier in the movie, there's a little bar fight, a little skirmish with Jason Statham and some bar patrons. And you see this guy come up who in the night before had won Sylvester Stallone's little skull ring in a bet. The dude who is in the bar is a stuntman, an action guy who's made his own movie before, called like Mike Moeller. If you don't know who Mike Moeller is, check it out. So this guy versus Jason Statham in a bar fight, that sounds like that could be quite nice. I would very much enjoy that a lot. Did we get anything? No. He hit him with some brass knuckles, called it a day.
Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it!
Potential. Maximum potential. So much potential. All the potential in the world, shit in the toilet. The other version of this crime. Remember I told you how there was this prisoner that Ike Uwais was like, we want to exchange this guy for this guy, but then they just show up and they just shoot him? So he's wearing a sack on his head, and you're thinking, who is this prisoner? Is it going to be somebody we've seen in a previous film? Is it going to be, I don't know, just another random action star from the 90s? Jeff Speakman, perhaps? I'm just throwing a name out there. I have no reason to think why would it be Jeff Speakman. I'm just throwing a name out there. Steven Seagal. He was in Machete and not Expend4bles. Why not him? I could watch him get shot in the head. No. They take the sack off this guy's head. It is Thai action star Dan Chupong. If you don't know who Dan Chupong is, have a look. That fucking whirlwind of fury and awesomeness had about 2 seconds of screen time before he got shot in the head. Gotta love it. Got to love wasted potential.
Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it!
And that's really just the essence of this movie is wasted potential. Not all of it's terrible. I enjoyed a lot of the stuff Jason Statham was doing in that final. Like I said, he had like a good 25 minutes of doing some really fun stuff. He goes back to back with Tony Jaa. There's a fun fight with Tony Jaa and this one chick who has a chain whip. I'm a big fan of a chain whip against like the lackey, the second in command guy, and I'm like, that was half decent. The editing could be fixed, but it was okay. And you know, of those 2 or 3 scenes that were just okay, it's just a whole movie of wasted potential. It's just, it's fine. It's like this movie, this movie does a perfect, wonderful job of existing. And I wish it would do more than that. I didn't expect more. It's Expend4bles 4. Sorry, Expend4bles. The third one was not very good. I actually quite enjoyed the second one quite a bit. The first one, yes, I've seen it about 4 or 5 times. It's not terrible. It's not a bad movie. Actually, I'd say it's a good movie. I'd say the second one's also a good movie. The third one is trash. I have no expectations for Expend4bles 4 to be good, but I do have expectations. No, I don't. I was going to say I have expectations for these people who have done amazing things overseas over the years to be brought over here and given something good to do, but no, I don't. They've been making movies in Hollywood now for like almost 10 years, 15 years, and they're always bad. They're never good. What do I have these expectations for? I would give Expend4bles, oh god, I'd give it like, I'd give it like a 2. Nuclear warheads under the sea. Under the sea. The motherfucking fish was dead. Yeah, like out of 5. 2 of them out of 5. 2 brass knucks out of 5. 2 wasted action stars out of 5. I mean, Mike Muller, I honestly don't expect that much of. Like, you know, it's Mike Muller. No one knows who Mike Muller is. But then, like, you bring in, like, Dan Chupong, and I'm like, oh, he's, like, actually an action star in Thailand. And then you just shoot him in the head. Like, that was my moment of anger in the movie theater. It's just stuff like this that's like why I stopped watching a lot of American action movies. Anyway, tell me what you thought of Expend4bles. Are you going to see Expend4bles? Do you care that my review was this long and full of spoilers? It was really too long. I should probably edit this down quite a bit. Yeah, I probably will. Who knows? I don't fucking know. So yeah, tell me what you thought of Expend4bles in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of Tony Jaa, Ike Uwais, and hell, Dan Chupong? Even, you know, Jason Statham, who had some decent stuff in this movie. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook. There is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak. Tristan_Glover_ on the Twitter, and Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Also got a Patreon. Also got a merch store on Teespring. All these links will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.